Get started. The June 7th, 2017 work session agenda will come to order. We're going to take 1, 2, 3 all together. They're all the same issue. They're just different documents that relate to this annexation. So, Kristen, you have the floor.
Next one. Good evening. As the chairman said, items 1, 2, and 3 are all related to the proposed annexation. Therefore, I will be discussing the Annexation Plan Resolution 10-17, Annexation Resolution number 11-17, and Charter Amendment Resolution number 171 simultaneously. Also, it's important to note that this is a new annexation process where various resolutions are required. The proposed properties known as 7041 Conti Road and 7051 Conti Road, Laurel, Maryland, owned by Strip Matter Conti, LLC, is seeking first annexation 2017 approval to annex 32.6 acres into the corporate boundaries of the city of Laurel. The site is north of the West Side development. Portion of the land will be developed into a residential townhouse community in zone RT. The other portion will be zoned R5 for a multi-purpose athletic field with associated parking that will be deeded to the city. The annexation area is within the growth limits identified in the city's master plan. It is required by state law to adopt an annexation plan when annexing land into the city of Laurel. The annexation plan outlines the proposed annexation area, the proposed use for the site, describes the public facilities needs for the proposed use. The annexation plan and other documents were sent out to agencies for a 30-day review period. Annexation Resolution 11-17 approves the annexation, and Charter Amendment Resolution number 171 would amend the city's charter by adding the annexation properties known as 7041 and 7051 Conti Road, which consist of the 32.6 acres, into the city of Laurel. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Bob. It's all right.
Thank you, Christian. As I understand it, because of the new process, when we take these up for a vote, Ms. Rao, we have to vote on each one of them separately. Is that correct? All right. Does anybody have any questions of Christian about this annexation? Mr. Ricks?
Not at this time, Greg.
All right. Ms. Crary?
I'm fine at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Nicholas?
I reserve questions for later.
Okay, so let me suggest that if you have any questions, I read all these documents again today. If you have any questions, please direct them through Kim to the city administrator and Christian, and she'll get back to us with the answers. Christian, do we know when they're going to start construction on this site after it's been annexed?
It wouldn't be to the fall because they'll have to go through the zoning approval process.
Okay, still have to go to the planning commission?
Planning commission, and for the townhouse community, they will have to come back through the mayor and city council.
Okay, excellent. So it'll either be in the fall or it'll be in the spring.
Correct.
Next year, okay.
No, we already did the annexation. Special.
And that, about how many units are proposed here?
That hasn't been determined at this time.
Okay, so that'd be part of the planning process with the planning commission.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, we look forward to it, and if I have any questions along with the rest of the council, we'll go ahead and direct them to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Move to agenda item number 4, ordinance number 1915, infrastructure bonds 2017, Series A refinancing. Michael, you're not Michelle, but you have the floor.
Thank you. In 2007, the city participated in the state local infrastructure financing program by financing $8,406,000 for CIP projects at an interest rate of 3.875%. Those bonds are now 10 years old, and we have the option of paying them off or refinancing. Ordinance 1915 proposes that we refinance the principal balance of $3,366,000. We don't yet know the final interest rate, but we expect it to be 2% or less. This will provide a savings in the FY 2018 through 2022 debt service budgets of a total of about $170,000. We are researching funds in the 2017 budget to find funds to cover the issuance cost for a July ordinance. Ordinance 1915 rounds up the total amount to $3,500,000 in case we need to include the issuance costs. The state is expecting a closing date in late July, and there are 10 other jurisdictions participating in this round.
Of refinancing?
I don't know if they're all refinancing.
Okay, so maybe initial financing
It could be
also.
new financing.
All right. All right, questions of Michael about this refinancing ordinance? Ms. Nicholas?
My question was, you had said that it's going to be 2% or less for the interest rate, but you're not sure.
We're not sure. That hasn't been finalized yet.
What about how many years it would be? You just went into it.
I don't know.
Okay. So you'll let us know.
I can let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Ms. Curry?
The savings sounds great, especially in consideration of an uncertain future as far as interest rates.
Yes, we would anticipate
So-
interest rates to rise in the future, yes.
I would be very much in favor of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Curry. Mr. Ricks?
I'm in favor of it as well. It sounds like what we get as far as interest rates. So we can get it in the opposite direction. I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. We're allowed to refinance this one time, is that correct? Isn't that the provision of the bonds?
Yes.
Okay, and we need to catch it on the upswing because it's starting up, based on
Yes.
what the Fed has just done. So hopefully we'll catch it.
We hope so.
Okay. All right, so this will be introduced at the mayor and city council meeting on Monday, June 12th. And the administration has requested that we suspend the rules, so I'll ask my colleagues to consider that so that we can vote on this ordinance on June 12th. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Move to agenda item number 5, bid recommendation LA 17-04 Bowie Road. Rob, you have the floor.
Thank you. Public Works had put together a bid for Bowie Road improvements from Lafayette Avenue up to 2nd Street, Route 1 northbound. We went out to bid and opened the bids on April 12th and received 6 bids ranging from $275,000 up to $450,000. What this does is replace it. There was no sidewalk where we stopped on the west side of the railroad bridge, and we're trying to get the sidewalk all the way up to Route 1 so that pedestrians have an easy travel going back and forth between that area. Due to the fact that we're not replacing existing sidewalk, the new DPI or our stormwater management has put a lot of resistance on what we have to do for stormwater management. That's why these bids are this high, because we have to do multiple upgrades to the storm drain systems in that area. Funding for the project is in the CIP for fiscal year 2017 through 2022. We're looking at awarding J Villa, which is a minority-owned business out of Jessup, with their low bid of $275,000, with an additional $30,000 as a contingency for a total of $305,000.
Okay, Rob. Any questions of Rob? Ms. Curry?
Are you starting like in front of the rescue squad?
Actually, the rescue squad, right there at the bridge, the asphalt, we're having to do the asphalt, but the sidewalk and everything that went underneath of the bridge is done,
Right.
and the signals have been put up. We're just going to continue from that point with the sidewalk, curb and gutter, up to Second Street, and then go back to the east side of the bridge for the asphalt repairs. So that way, the entire road would be done all the way up to Second Street,
Road and sidewalk.
road and sidewalk.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crary. Mr. Ricks?
It definitely needs it bad in there, and so I have no problem with this at all.
Thank you. Ms. Nicholas?
Thank you. I think this is great. It just looks like Rivers, I'm just wondering why they're charging $450,000.
Basically, what I understand from them is there are different types of storm drain systems, and J Villa does their own, whereas Rivers would have to have another contractor come in and do the work.
Oh, okay. That's why. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Okay, Rob, since a large portion of this cost is in fact on the stormwater requirements, so we're paying from the capital fund for this, is that correct?
Yes,
And then
because
the question comes up, since it's a stormwater issue, can we get money from the county stormwater fund? I mean, I'm just asking the question.
when we approached the county to assist us with various other projects like Dorset Road,
Yeah.
I was unable to get anything out of them. This is the county's regulations on what they're telling us we have to do.
They got $100 million in that fund. $100 million. It's another example of where it's not going to what it's intended to go to. Cleaning up stormwater ponds, improving stormwater outflows. So you don't have to ask. I'm going to ask Mary Lehman, what's going on? If you're not getting a response, at least they should say, oh, you have to put it in this project. There's projects all around the city going on from that fund. You've seen some of them, I'm sure, because they've circulated that. And I believe that the 4 bays for Laurel Lakes are coming out of that fund. It would seem to me, I assume the outflow is going to go into the culvert. Is that correct?
That's
Is that where it
correct.
ends up? You got a grit and oil separators and all kinds of things now. Okay. So I'll ask the question, but I assume a large portion of the 275 is taken up with stormwater.
That's correct. A lot of
Okay.
it is.
Okay, did they break it down? Did they parse it for you when they bid the contract?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. All right, so, I'm sorry, Mayor, go ahead.
Will this help with any of the pedestrian issues we're having over there?
Yes, this will alleviate them walking along the shoulders where there are no sidewalks, curb and gutters, and to give them a safe avenue to actually walk all the way up to Route 1.
Right,
Then
bridge.
it'll connect the,
My question.
yeah, it's kind of hard for me to,
So we're still going to have enforcement over there? Okay.
And the opening's not wide enough, is it?
no.
That's the bottom line.
You know, we put sidewalk in, but the people that are utilizing it
Yep.
still are crossing the street without using the sidewalk that's there. What our goal is, or what we're hoping, is that when we get the sidewalk to go away to Route 1, they'll stay on the sidewalk.
Do you have a rough number, how long ago that bridge, that tunnel was built? Long time ago. That and the one at Main Street.
Mr. President, I think it's fair to say, though, that the improvements that we've made down there have certainly helped with not only the traffic flow, but the safety issue at the rescue squad. So only this can do is improve what we've already done already.
Yeah, I understand that, Mr. Ricks, but it points out that CSX has a responsibility here, and they're ignoring the safety aspects of those 2 tunnels in this town, in this city.
I wish you luck with that.
You haven't seen me bargain yet, Mr. Ricks. But I'm just saying that I did in fact bring this issue up with the National League of Cities, because there's other places around the U.S. where they've got this problem. Now, some of those tunnels have actually been closed. We don't want them closed. We want CSX to do something about it. Okay, thank you. So this will be on the agenda for awarding the contract on Monday, June 12th, 2017. Move to agenda item number 6, Comcast franchise agreement. Kevin, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, council members. I wanted to just take a couple minutes this evening to update you on where we are with the Comcast franchise negotiation. I think most of you are aware that this has been in progress for a while. Actually started we're probably entering almost 3 years. It's a consortium with the county, and I think there's about 28 municipalities that are involved. And at the table is essentially the county, Laurel, Greenbelt, Bowie, and we're the negotiating team. So we're meeting with Comcast, like I said, for almost 3 years. There's two parts of the agreement. There's the actual franchise, Comcast cable franchise agreement, and then there's the piece related to the institutional network, which is the iNet. I would say that we are up in the 90% completed on the Comcast cable franchise. We're working on the iNet issues now. There are some significant issues there related to the future of Comcast supporting the institutional network. I think we're probably at the way we're moving now, I think we'll be done by the end of the year. I think that I'm pretty confident of that, but we'll see. There are changes going on. Technology is driving and has been changing during the last 3 years. And if you've been following technology, you can see that there's a lot of stuff that was on cable and over the air that's now appearing on the internet streaming. So that's kind of where we are. The reality is I can't talk details about the contract since it's a negotiation, and I have signed that agreement. But if we want to be generic and if you just want to ask some questions, I'll see if I can either answer it or skirt around it. But the bottom line is, if you do have any questions, if you want to get through the mayor or Luann or get to Marty, we can get stuff back to you.
I just wanted him to give you all and let you know
Yeah.
what's still going on. That's really
Yeah, and at the time, when you all have finished negotiations, then it'll come back to the council for
Yes,
approval.
you will have to.
And then we'll have the public hearings.
Yes, and you'll have to ratify it. Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Mr. Ricks.
No question.
Thank you. Ms. Gray.
No question.
Thank you. Ms. Nicholas.
No question.
Okay, we'll see you again, I'm sure, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Move to agenda item number 7, contract award for towing services. Chief, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, council members. Before you should have a memorandum titled Contract Award for Towing Services. We've had a towing service contract in place for an extended period of time. We recently published a request for proposal for the surrounding tow companies. Our current 3 providers, if you're not aware, we have 3 providers that we do a rotational call out. Were personally notified, one of which declined any further participation. A notice was published in the March 2nd, 2017 edition of the Laurel Leader, stating the deadline for submissions was April 17th, 2017 at 4 p.m. As a result of the RFP, 5 tow companies expressed an interest in providing towing services to the City of Laurel and the Laurel Police Department. Each of these businesses were provided an overview of the towing program and the mandated requirements. Inspections were conducted of all the interested tow companies, which included inspections of their facilities, vehicles, cleanliness of storage and office space, payment options, which is mandated by Prince George's County Code, record-keeping process, and meeting with the management to discuss expectations of the services provided. The 5 companies that expressed interest were Automated Support Towing and Recovery, which is located on Old Gunpowder Road, Hoffman Brothers Towing, which is located on Sandy Spring Road, Lenny's Towing, which uses the corporate address of Kit Kat Road in Elkridge, Morton's Towing and Recovery, Washington Street South, which is located in Laurel. It's off of Brockbridge Road in the Anne Arundel County section. past and present, which is located on Academy Lane in Laurel. As a result of the inspections, overview reviews, and in order to maintain our current rotational call list, it is recommended that the following three tow companies be awarded a City of Laurel towing services contract for a period of 2 years, effective July 1st, 2017. The recommendations, again, were based upon the results of the inspections and compliance of our guidelines, and they are Automated Support Towing and Recovery, Hoffman Brothers, and Morton's Towing and Recovery. I'm requesting execution of the towing contract with the above referenced or the reference providers for a period of 2 years.
Thank you, Chief. Questions of the chief. Ms. Nicholas.
I have some questions, but I want to look at something, then I'll come back to me, please.
All right. Ms. Curry.
I know I've heard you often say, and many people, that we're not in the business of towing in the city of Laurel. Is this primarily for accidents? Is it primarily for disabled vehicles? Are we branching out now? Are they paid per tow? I mean, we
utilize the towing companies for a multitude of reasons, whether it is a seizure of a vehicle, which we do through narcotics, if it is an impound for driving while suspended, driving without insurance, whatever the case may be, vehicles that are inoperable as a result of an accident, and we also utilize them for owner's request, where somebody may want their car towed, they can work it out with the tow company. If they want to work it out through their insurance company and have their car towed to Fred Fredericks, that's available. That's available based on the owner's request. We also use them for flooding situations, snow emergencies. So, I mean, they're aware, and there's a fee schedule that they must abide by that is contained within our contract. So it covers the storage, it covers the tows, it covers the hookup, it covers everything.
I guess my concern would be we aren't going to get into an overzealous situation that we've seen happen in certain areas of Montgomery County that end up on Channel 4.
No, absolutely not. We're not doing impounds from neighborhoods. We're not doing. Again, it's regulated by our general orders, and these are standard operating procedures that we have established, that we've gained, that we've utilized in the past, and we're going to maintain. Again, everything's by direction.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Curry. Mr. Ricks.
Yes, a couple things. I would hope that if someone asked us to call them a tow truck, I would hope that we would give them all three and let them decide who they want.
No. The way that we do this is if they ask us for a tow company, we have a rotational schedule. The computer generates the next on-call, and we document the response that is provided by them. So, again, the fee structure is exactly the same no matter which tow company it is, because it's based on our mandate.
Okay. How much time do we allow them once they're called to respond?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yep.
And if they fail, what happens?
Then we go to the next one, and even if they get there at 25 minutes or 30 minutes, they're sent on their way, and it's noted in our log. And again, there's repercussions based on violations of our policies and our procedures, which they're going to agree to, and they're willing to agree to, and they're going to sign. It's all based on the contract.
So if they get a strike, is there a time when we say enough's enough and strike them from the list?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. As I remember, we don't allow trolling in the city of Laurel. In other words, if somebody's parked in a businessman's lot, they must get a phone call from the designated person at that place of business before the tow truck comes and tows, correct? Has nothing to do with our contract. I'm just talking about towing in general.
Basically, yes, that for private property.
Right,
However, there are some HOAs that have a standing contract with tow companies, designated tow companies, for violation of their parking regulations.
But the tow truck drivers, whoever the contract's with, they cannot troll. They must get a phone call from somebody. Isn't that correct? I think it's a county requirement.
No, for the private property, like let's for instance, let's use Ashford Boulevard, because Ashford Boulevard has their HOA has a tow contract. Their tow company goes through to make sure you have the appropriate parking permits. If you
Okay.
don't, then they impound you and they notify us.
Huh?
So Berman's do at the shop, so.
Okay, all right.
People.
Okay, that's all I've got. So this will be on the agenda for Monday, June 12th, for approval. Is there anything else to come before the council? Meeting's adjourned.